Listen to me. You cannot be a faithful steward if you are ruled and controlled by influence of the self-life. What is self? And why did the Lord demand that we must deny ourselves, we must follow him? Self is a sinful nature you inherited when you were given birth to. Self is you and everything you represent. Your personality, the embodiment of everything you are. Your values, your mindset, your life and living. It is the nature that you were given birth to. And immediately they gave back to you. Your family, your immediate family you were giving back to, oriented you. They molded you and they formed you into who you are. The society you were giving back to, they contributed, they made you. So it is a product of your nature and your nurture. And that nature is a fallen nature. It's against Jesus, it's against the will and the purpose of God. It is a rebellious nature. It's a nature that Adam acquired when he failed. And as Adam and his family began to this, they reinforced that nature and they formed what we call the culture and values, mindset and attitude, the way we do things. Everything put together represents that. The problem with that life is that it is against God. It lusts after the spirit, it fights against the spirit. The nature, because it was a nature that was gotten from the fall, because it was a nature that was gotten from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, because it was the nature of Satan. Are you understanding it? Is against God. It is that nature that Eve and Adam began immediately to manifest when they fell. Self-defense. It is him that she's the one. Oh, you need to see that in children. My boy, I used to tell him, and my girl, I used to say, if you are, don't say you are the one. I don't know who taught them. Obviously they didn't learn from me and my wife. But listen to me. Immediately they do it. Who did it? They will call the name of someone. Now it's the last one. Because she can't explain herself. Who did it? She's the one. I said she's not. It's you. When God confronted the couple, he's the one. It's the nature that even today in marriages, it's wrecking marriages. The only problem in your marriage is your wife. You're not seeing your own. It's my husband. You're not seeing your own. That's self. She's the one. It's a nature that runs away from God, that likes to hide. Immediately after the way, he said, who told you? That nature is animating. It was the one that began to tell them things. He told them that they were naked. And when God asked, they said, who told you? How did he know? It is a source of life. It is a spring. It has suggestions. It has ideas. It has things. It is the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil. It is a nature that is contrary to God, to the word of God and the spirit of God, and began to manifest. It was what happened that made somebody kill his brother, because the nature began to manifest you as what? Jealousy, envy. And you want to be a faithful steward. You can't be a faithful steward with a self-life. How can it be possible? Until self is denied, crucified, and until you learn to live and to walk in continual victory over self, then you cannot be a faithful steward of God. If you put your hand to the God, you will spoil it. He was driven by jealousy and envy when he saw his brother sacrifice Abel. And that nature manifests, and God advised him. It's a terrible nature in you now, and it is going to consume you. He said, instead of you not pray, help me. He did not do anything about until what? He consumed him and he killed his brother. There are people today doing ministry, doing the word of God, and the summary of their ministry is competition, envy and jealousy. Somebody can come here now and immediately enters the Holy Spirit in his happy. They are not religious. But we now, this one can be feel that we are something. It's that nature. If you bring it to the service of God, if you bring it to stewardship, you will ruin it. So when Jesus said, you can't follow me until you deny yourself, he was telling them in essence, listen to me, that it is impossible to serve me. It is impossible to grow and to be a faithful steward if you are controlled and ruled by self-life. And thank God, sir, when you were presenting, you see, we need to understand the service. You know, some of us, we still have this dichotomy: spiritual life, carnal life. In church, we are spiritual, we are holy. That is the manifestation of the self-life. It is the self-life that said church is church, business is business. So in business, if you see the self-life, it has a way it manifests. When it comes also to ministry, it shows itself. If you put it in the work of God, it's like a dead fly in the oil of the apothecary. It makes it to stink. Any work of God that has element of the self-life will stink. In our little work, we have seen things. But my conclusion is that oneself is always where it is in the work of God. It will manifest itself. And it's terrible, its manifestation. The first time I became a Christian, coming from a Muslim background, immediately I entered the church. The first time I remember I entered the youth fellowship, a sister ministered on stage. And the sister was sitting behind me and she hissed. After that one finished ministration, and I was shaking because I just came into the church. In my mind, it shouldn't happen in church. I didn't keep quiet. You know the rest are prophetic and you know from our prophecy will confront people with their sin. I said, no. Knowledge is not easy. I confronted them only to discover that they were fighting over each other. Self everywhere. See, at every place, whether it's a good fellowship, in the campus fellowship, in the office, in the marketplace, in community, anywhere the self-life manifests itself, it builds the work of God. A man that is controlled and ruled by the self, he cannot be faithful. Like he cannot be faithful. He cannot. Who gives goat to the God to keep? Who gives lion meat to hold? A man that is ruled by sinful nature. You are committing spiritual resources. Jesus Christ says, do not cast precious pearl before a swine. A man that is ruled by self is like a swine, a pig. He will always go back to the soul, to the mud. If you give him treasures of heaven, you know, we're talking about the treasure of the word of God that given unto us. A man that is ruled and controlled by, he does not value spiritual things. And it's painful, sir, this generation. Some people know the full squad of Manchester, of Chelsea and all of that. They don't know the 12 disciples. Spiritual things that people laid their lives. William Tyndale, he was talking about it. The man was killed for the gospel, killed with stakes, thrown. People were born on the stake. Our fathers, the one we sing that the fate of our fathers, those people they paid with their lives. They came through dungeon, through strife. They labor for this world. They held this world. It was dear to them. I was telling you about China. There's some persecution because they will not allow them to hold the Bible. They will decide 66 brothers. You memorize Genesis for us. You memorize this so that they have a complete Bible. And they have to get more people to memorize so that if this one is killed or taken into prison, they will still have someone who has memorized Genesis. One passage. Some of us do not. That's the self-life. It does not value spiritual things. You cannot be a faithful steward if you are ruled and controlled by the sinful nature. That's why Jesus Christ said, you cannot be my disciple if you do not deny the self-life. If you do not take your cross and follow me, it's not possible. We just want to deceive ourselves. And it's grievous how it manifests. If you go to communist, if you see what some so-called men of God do, I weep for the gospel. Sinners just taking over the house of God and posing themselves, impostors in the house of God, calling themselves servants of God, ruled by greed. Jude describes them very well. Ruled by greed. Their belly is their God. The essence of being in ministry is to make it. They need fat on the brethren. They are fat, they are fed themselves, and they are sitting over the lives of brethren. They project themselves. You will see, you need to understand. God has called us for a cause. I told you yesterday. We are called for the cause of the king. A man who is full of himself cannot promote Jesus. He's so full of himself, he would rather promote himself than Christ. So when you go to ministries that demand is the center of attention, he's simply ruled by his nature. That is self in operation in ministry. And I don't want to waste my time describing how it happens.